All right, welcome to Scene at the Academy here. Today, we're going to examine three different scenes from a terrific film here from writer-director Sofia Coppola, On the Rocks. So happy to have her here to explain all of this for us. And welcome, Sofia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Love this movie.
Thank you.
I reviewed it. I did everything with it. It's just a charming film in so many ways. Before we talk about the three scenes that you have chosen to examine here, I just want to do a little bit of overview of why you decided to make this your, I believe, your seventh feature film at this
Mm.
point. Why you decided to do this. It's a little lighter in tone, and of course, a return to working with Bill Murray.
Yeah, I had this idea in mind for years now, and I was trying to figure out how to write the screenplay. And I had this idea that I wanted to do a father-daughter kind of buddy caper and kind of an homage to all the great classic comedy, screwball comedies. And so I just felt like, wanting to try to do something funny and lighter that also had deep themes. And I felt like just the way, just in these times to have something playful and fun that also tackled important themes to me.
This is your idea of incognito?
They'll never see us coming. We have supplies too. Hop in, cutie.
I noticed too, it's beautiful, in some ways, Valentine to New York City. Pre-pandemic, when you shot it, it's a different New York, and shooting in New York, that's almost a character in and of itself here.
Yeah, I always like shooting on location. I was excited to shoot in New York for the first time, and how do I do New York in my style and not feel like how we've seen it before? But yeah, I feel so lucky that we were able to film around New York before everything closed down. We had no idea we were making a period film.
Yeah, you couldn't shoot this in
Mhm.
any other city, obviously, and double anything. New York was very important to it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And just that we were able to, that they let us film in 21 and in the Bevelman's Bar in the Carlisle and all these kind of iconic places about New York was really important and I think adds a lot of texture to it.
Bogart's table, where he proposed to Bacall.
Really?
Well, we're going to examine three scenes, and since you mentioned 21, let's start with that one, which was a scene. Well, all three of these are actually between Felix and Laura. So, talk about that scene and why that was important, and to shoot at 21.
Yeah, I mean, that is the first time that he kind of whisks Rashida's character out of her rut of her life and the responsibilities, and it's the first time he forces her to kind of to go out, and
I love it. Thank
and
you.
I just there's the kind of the beginning of him cooking up this scheme to spy on the husband, and then share. He gets her an ice cream sundae, and he tells her a story about when she was a baby, which was a real story that my dad told me about remembering me as when I was a baby.
I remember the first moment, the moment, when I first recognized you as a person. We were in the country. You were about 9 months old, and you were sitting on the ground, and I picked you up, and your diaper was sopping wet with mud and water, and we looked at each other and just started laughing, and there you were. I saw who you were.
And here we are.
So I feel like there's a lot of sweetness in that scene, and also just that how no one else can kind of spoil you in your kid-like way. That's nice to revisit when you have to be a responsible adult. It's nice to slip back to being a kid and having your dad get you an ice cream.
Hey, Greg, could we bring the little girl a belly buster, please? I'm not worried about you, kiddo. You've got brains, beauty, and character, which is the most important thing a person can have. Do you know what woman's at her most beautiful between the ages of 35 and 39?
Great. So I have many months left.
Women are like flowers. They're all beautiful at any age, even dried flowers, you know. I don't know why women get plastic surgery.
Because of men like you.
I prefer the factory original.
Yeah, and every other make and model.
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Are there two? Oh, scared me. You know, I think everyone has a right to their own privacy. But if he's doing something dishonorable, you need to know and find out on your own terms so you can be prepared for anything. I don't think there's anything at all. There may not be anything. We'll find out Friday. I'll pick you up and we'll have some fun.
No.
Now, another scene in New York City had them going to, well, he says he'll drop her off, but first they have to make a stop, and they go to this kind of uptown gathering.
Are you Felix's daughter?
Yes, I'm Laura.
You live in the city?
I do.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
How is it?
Honestly, I'm not sure right now.
And so she's there too, meeting some older people, different people there at the party. Talk about the importance of this scene in particular.
Yeah, that scene was sort of a Felix thing where he'll drop her off, but oh wait, first I just have to go by and kind of, he's like working some deal where he's trying to get a painting,
It's
and
very healthy to me. She might make it to 100.
All right. We'll get my blood pressure up, Shorty.
I don't know, like my father-in-law is like that too. We're like, oh, just do one thing, but we have to say hi to the mayor on the way, like, so it's a kind of Felix being slippery, and that she has to kind of go into this exotic world that's not part of her normal world at this party at the Sherry Netherland with this, kind of uptown crowd. And then they slip off because he wants to show her there's a Monet painting off in a bedroom. And so he says, oh, let's walk backwards, which was Bill's idea. And they sneak out and they have this moment where they take in this painting together and share a moment.
That's something, isn't it?
Beautiful.
I remember the first time I saw them at the Tuileries. The next day, your mom and I drove out to the gardens at Giovanni.
That is, to me, the trickiest thing in doing a comedy and then making that tonal shift and making it work. Where they do walk backwards, that's kind of the madcap style of part of the film. But then it very much, you do the shift flawlessly because it just feels so natural. And it becomes a very poignant scene as they're looking at that painting together, and it's all about family and it's about his life before that, and it becomes very poignant, I think.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping that we could go back and forth and have those heartfelt moments too. So thank you.
The other scene you chose to examine here is not in New York City at all, but rather in Mexico, where the movie shifts and takes a little detour to Mexico. And in that scene, he's talking about his past loves, and particularly one of them, and they have a whole conversation there. Once again, at the table, talking to each other. Talk about that scene and why that was important in that particular moment.
This is the kind of one of the final scenes between them where they talk about relationships, and she's looking at her marriage and trying to understand her parents' marriage, and Bill. When we shot that, I was really taken. Rashida and I were both really taken with how he really kind of exposes himself and shows his vulnerable side, and it's another one of those tonal shifts because this section of the movie is kind of the silliest madcap area, and then he goes into this very heartfelt, sincere moment where he talks about a past relationship, and I just remember it was very striking seeing him really go that kind of vulnerable and deep with it.
When your mom and I were first together, she was so amazing. I mean, she shone all her light on me. But when you guys came along, all that light went to you two. And when someone looked at me again like that, I wanted that glow again.
You're such a baby.
We all just want to be loved.
It's exhausting.
Why?
It's exhausting to try to love you enough.
Your mother had all these things she wanted to do all of a sudden, and all her friends, and she had you kids. You know, when Holly came along and was so crazy about me, I wasn't used to it.
So that's all it took? That was the appeal, that she just looked at you with such adoration?
Yeah, and your mom didn't want to travel with me anymore. I needed to travel. She wouldn't go. She suggested I take Holly. Holly just started the gallery. Did you know that she died this year?
No.
She died. I never thought I'd outlive her. She was only 50.
I don't really remember her.
She was funny and very smart and a terrifically talented painter. I never got to say goodbye to her.
After everything you put us through, what it did to Mom, and then you didn't even stay with Holly. Was it worth it?
It was heartbreaking for everyone.
Well, it's great. Continued good luck with the film as people
Thank you.
begin to see it more and more on Apple TV and was in theaters and with A24. So congratulations, Sophia.
Thank you. Thanks so much.